Go ahead.
Excuse me.
The big Jesus, you know. But you would not believe how many people know somebody who's seen one of those things. It's ridiculous. Even with how many people here see one of these things? Well, there you go. Yeah. One room, an entire continent.
And how many people in here have said something to somebody and felt demeaned or ridiculed? And that suppresses your opinion, and you're unlikely to talk about it after that, right?
Well, you know, human beings are probably the most insecure, scared herd animal on the planet today. We're all scared. We're scared. But that's what I'm hearing saying, we guys quit being scared. We don't have to be scared. Quit being scared. You know, like, since I've been doing this, I'll walk down the street at home or anywhere. I got people coming up to me all the time, running me down the airport or wherever. I've never had one person ever come up to me and laugh in my face since I put up that first video. Not once.
Well, somebody sent me an email saying that they were going to be here tonight. They wanted to really take you on.
Let's go.
So, when you were at that young age, when you first saw this Bigfoot, and you had John Green's book, tell us how you developed your opinion of what Bigfoot really is, or isn't.
My opinion today, well, you know, in the beginning, I wouldn't have any energy towards the topic. I didn't know what I was surrounded with anybody who talked about the topic. I didn't know anybody who'd seen one. And you're 18 years old, you start to chase girls, drive hot rod around, and be a complete idiot. You don't really focus on the topic. But then as time went on, then I started getting more interested in people coming out of the woodwork. And then John Benedego was on the island, and he was going to have everything at UVic, University of Victoria. I'm like, eh. I ended up phoning him. He actually took me out for coffee breakfast. We hung out a little bit. Super nice guy. And I'm all, it's some vinegar. I'm like, I got a perfect plan. I'm going to get like a dummy that looks like Sasquatch. I'm going to go up in a night hill in the middle of nowhere in the big fjords. I'm going to put it in the middle and you get a crying baby. I was talking to Bobby Short. Bobby Short's like, well, try to use a baby, crying baby recording. I got this big elaborate plan. It'll be a piece of cake. And I'll lay it on the grass and wait for him to come down. But then it doesn't take too long to figure out that it's not that easy. It's not the case, and these things aren't a simple animal, and they are more human than not. But as I carry on watching all of you guys, I'm just in the back shots on the fence watching all you guys, watching everybody carrying on, watching these absolutely embarrassing people on TV annihilate the topic, shaking my head, and it just gets to the point. It's like, all right, the evidence is in. I mean, look how many emails I've got from first responders, from high security tactical teams. 100% of them have told me it was more human than it wasn't. 100% of them have told me that.
So, first of all, how many people in here know who Bobby Short is? So Bobby was one of the first female Bigfoot researchers in the whole world. She was a registered nurse. She lived in Southern California. She had a sighting of one in the Marble Mountain Wilderness area. And when I got into this, I started to call Bobby on a regular basis for weeks. And one of the things she said right away was, Dave, don't listen to the BS out there for 90% of the people. I'm telling you, the female I saw in the Marble Mountain Wilderness was just like a female that was living down the street. She was injured, she was crippled for some reason. She saw me, I saw her. Did you hear the same story?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And she goes, but you know what? My story was suppressed, and that's why I left the Bigfoot organization I was with. And then I was threatened if I came out and told anybody that I'd be sued. And I'm a single mom. I couldn't come out. I couldn't talk about it. And she was suppressed and attacked. But that's just one of the stories about people who were intimidated about it coming out.
It's amazing. It's sad. It's frustrating. And that's why I'm here. I'm trying to encourage everybody. Like, you know what I'm saying in the past few nights. The scientific community won't accept the DNA. We'll kick them to the side. Who needs them? There's enough people now out here that have seen these things and know about it. What do you need? What do you need? I don't need anybody to acknowledge anything. I don't care. You know what I mean? But I just did the math on it while we're sitting there. With the emails that I have today, right now, I did the math on it. If I gave it an average 10 minutes to include reading and replying, average 10 minutes. Right now, it would take me 1,250 hours nonstop to reply to all the emails I have. 1,250 hours. You know how many troubled souls that is out there? You know how many people that is to create an army and be strong and confident? If some dick like me could rally everybody and lead the charge and tell you who to kick aside, quit being scared, all these idiots. You know what I mean? Okay, I've seen one of these things twice. I've had I don't count. I don't care. Once I've seen these things, I don't care about tracks. Who cares about tracks, really? Who cares about tree twists and tree breaks? Who cares? They're out there. Let's get to the bottom. Get up to the next level. That's like a couple of videos ago telling everybody, let's get to the DNA. And you guys are freaking out at the footprints. Really? Get in the game. Get in the game. It's up there. If that's what you want as answers, unless you are content to be obsessed with footprints, teach their own, whatever floats your boat.
So tell us what you think about the DNA study.
What do I think about it? I think obviously if it was me involved, there'd probably be an assault charge. You know what I mean? I don't know how you maintain such calm, cool, level-head sanity after doing the work, the incredible things you guys did to just get shit on by a bunch of absolute liars. Yeah?
So, just for people who don't know, so I had a couple kids that were just entering high school, and they paid attention to what was on the news, and they saw the righteous attacks, and they came to me and they said, Dad, this is embarrassing, we're taking shit at school. And that's when I stepped back. I stepped away from it for years. And so I'll admit that I was intimidated. Now, if I was a single dad, a single person, I wouldn't have cared. I think I would have stuck in there. But thinking about my family, I had to move away. I had to get away from the topic. And there wasn't somebody like you out there who could really stand up and be that voice that we need. Now, are you concerned at all that these guys are going to level their guns at you and come after you?
No, because that would mean I'd be scared. You know, and it would work. I'm like, no, you guys are going to be scared pretty quick. That's my honest to God attitude. I'm not scared of you. You're going to be scared. What they've been doing to us has been working. There's another thing too. It's like when hunting or fishing. You use what works. You watch and you learn from other people. That's how I learned everything in life, by watching what people do. I will learn what to do and I will learn what not to do by observing everybody and everything. All right? How are these guys doing this? Well, they're banding together, they're intimidating everybody, they're calling everybody down, they're embarrassing them. It works. Okay, guess what's coming your way now? You use that on you. We're going to get more people, get stronger, get your confidence, and we're going to come after you. We're going to make you scared now. What do you think of that? Here we are. Now my stuff's got 1,000 people coming every 24 hours to my channel, and everybody's getting confident and strong, and they're throwing the shit back in their face instead of being, I want this attention. Bring it on. We're just a human being. We only got one lifetime. But being scared. Don't be scared of anybody, ever, when it comes to the honest truth. Never.
So why do you... I know Doug Hychak from Monster Quest really well, really well. Stand-up guy. And I couldn't get him to tell me why he buckled and played that network game. Maybe it was just for the dollar at the time. But what I don't understand is why the networks are pushing that agenda.
I haven't a clue. I haven't a clue.
It's puzzling.
Who knows? But there's obviously another thing too is, as well as I do, once you start diving into trying to look for answers, it's not just about these beings anymore. It goes to more questions. And it goes to more places that make you go, oh, really? And obviously, we all have to figure it out. We have nobody willing to give it up. Nobody's willing to show us that we can live independently, possibly, or think for ourselves, because that would create, obviously, a bunch of havoc for the people who would love power, possibly. But I don't know what's going on. I haven't a clue. But
so you live about 2.5 hours north of Vancouver, kind of up in the mountains, right?
yeah, right in the mountains.
Do you have Bigfoot activity around your house?
Yeah, I got my backyard.
And you also have a giant bear living in the backyard.
There's grizzly bears in the backyard. Well, not right in the backyard. Maybe a couple more years away.
Oh shit. So when you go out at night, is that in the back of your mind?
Which part?
Oh.
Grizzly bears, no. I'll bet you guys. I'll do 120 days when I'm guiding full time in the middle of absolute nowhere. And when I come home, and I'm a selfish hunter, and I want to go deer by myself. And my methods of hunting by myself are to climb up through the timber, mature fir timber, for an average an hour and a half in the dark by myself. And to answer your question, I am full of anxiety the night before. I'm full of anxiety as I go to bed that night. And I wake up in the morning and I'm making coffee and I got anxiety, and I'm driving here, I got anxiety, and all I keep in my mind is, not today. Just leave me alone. Just leave me alone. And I swear on my life, those thoughts are in my head for years. Every single time I go out in the woods.
So one of the things that I talked about years ago was being a policeman and having this sixth sense, entering a building and knowing there's trouble here, or walking into a building to search it for a suspect, and I just have a gut feeling, hey, there's nobody here. And I know, because you and I have talked, when you have that sixth sense and you're going up that mountain and something just tells you, Steve, maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Do you listen to that?
Every time, especially when you're a handicapped fishing guy, you listen to your sixth sense. And like I said earlier, I'm sure we were born with a very strong sixth sense that is possibly intentionally brought out of us when we turn 5 years old and succumb to go into a place for 5 or 7 days to be taught from a stranger. But when you think about it, numerous incidents with both canines and young children, when something alarming comes by or a dark figure, a person who's got ill intentions comes into that household yard, it's always the children who sense that person's bad. Children and canines, they sense it. They're in tune with their sixth sense, right? So, and I've become, because of my lifestyle, what I do feel like I'm certain I am probably a little more in tune with my intuition and sixth sense, just as you guaranteed would have been being a cop. And I make every single decision I make in life, I do it with my gut. Every single decision I use my gut. And I stick to it, and I don't argue it anymore if I learn, and I'm winning. I'm winning straight across the board, I'm still alive. But yeah, when I'll feel the pressure, I'll feel pressure from this one spot. And it's just got you to where I just won't go there. I know they're there. I found a footprint there a year ago. I got screamed at twice from there this year. But they're not there all the time. And there's this monster buck that I just have to get. He lives right there. So I just want to get this deer, and I'll never go there ever again, But I keep going back, and it's horrifying anxiety every time. But when I feel the pressure is just too much, like, not today. See ya. I'm out of here. No problem. I'm out of here. So yeah, I just go with it, and I feel the pressure. I got other places at home. I just don't go there anymore.
So one of the things I've told people before is that I believe in my own mind that a dog and a horse are kind of like the early warning devices for us when we're in the woods. There's danger around. Have you experienced that?
Oh, yeah, tons of times. Here's the thing, know that. No, we were just in Asia a month ago, and took Sarah when we went, she was swimming with elephants. Big highlight. But the elephant trainers have told us that big tsunami that wiped out all those communities a handful of Christmases ago, they said that the elephants were trying to warn the people far before it happened. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So the Thai people that are in tune with they listen to the elephants.
So tell me what your horse does when there's danger around it. How does it react?
Want me to mimic it?
Go for it, man.
It doesn't tell me anything.
Got the audience.
Well, horses, they just perk your ears up and they're locked like. They just start basically crapping themselves. 9 times out of 10, it's a horny moose, and I'm not kidding you. And the moose I've had grizzly bears come up front of me, and the horse half asleep, doesn't care, and then other times, and it's a moose, because the moose don't care. They come after the horse at nighttime. I'd act like that too if a moose tried that on me a few times in the past.
So, we're in Washington. It would be considered a liberal state. And we'll step out of the Bigfoot arena for a second, because I spent a lot of time with Mossy Oak, and the people there are some of the nicest people in the world. And some of the hunters I've met in my lifetime are some of the most grounded, nicest people ever. But you know this, that there's a segment of the population who hates hunters. And if you were going to sit down and have a private conversation with somebody about what hunters do for the world and the resources and how they help manage it, what would you say to that?
Well, the hunters are the true conservationists of the planet. They are the true ones. They care about it. And anglers. Hunters and anglers, they are in tune with the whole ecosystem. They're your dollars, everybody's dollars. We pound the money in there. And like I said on another video about wolf predation control we've had a couple years back, the people who are using their emotional tearjerker and trying to stop this and stop that. They don't understand that they're annihilating one species by sensationalizing one and trying to prevent some sort of conservation moves. And they don't understand the damage that they're doing and the conservation dollars are taken away. And they don't replace that conservation money once they bring an end to a season for something. They don't replace that money that we've been pumping into the ecosystem. You take it away, and then because, here's what people always say, leave it alone, you gotta leave it alone, it's been alone, they've been fine for 1,000 years before us. Really? Okay, well, how do you go about taking all that lumber out of the mountains, cutting all those roads in, taking the minerals, taking the fuel out for your comfort, and then you're gonna preach leave them alone? Well, that doesn't really work, does it? Right? You can't take away the cover and the food for the prey feed, the prey animals, from the predator feed, and then claim that they've been fine for thousands of years before us. Well, no, you guys are creating the imbalance, and it's the hunters that are trying to make the balance and correct it so that everything doesn't get annihilated. And we keep people involved in hunting and fishing, which makes it strong, which keeps putting money in, which brings up children who care, and they're educated. But then you got these people who hate, and they're uneducated, and all they see is a fuzzy stuffy, and they want to say it's life, but they are the ones that are ultimately annihilating it.
So when I was with Mossio, they showed me a video that they took Jeff Foxworthy hunting for elk, and he was bow hunting in Utah. And during the hunt, Jeff just started talking casually about the importance of hunting. And he said, Dave, he's talking to Cus Strickland, and he said, now we have almost 80% less hunters than we did 80 years ago. And all of the money in Colorado, I can talk specifically, it's hundreds of millions of dollars that fishermen and hunters bring to the state that wasn't there. And it's the administration of the Department of Fish and Game that manage the resources for the public. Without that money, they would not have a fraction of the resources that they have.
It's a very, very frustrating, sad story. But it's all education. Everything's education, including the Sasquatch rings, UFOs. It's all education. If everybody just starts speaking openly to the children, that's how it starts. That's how things get fixed. It's your education. You talk to your children honestly about everything across the board. Everything. No matter how alarming it may be at school. Maybe you teach them when they're a little older in school, they can deal with it. But if everybody's taught honestly, then everything's going to be cool. Everything's going to get fixed. Nobody's going to go laughed at, and conservation's getting stronger and strong. But it's all the education. You got to teach and speak honestly to your community and your children.
Okay, we're at a UFO paranormal conference. I heard the word UFO come out of your mouth, so here's the door that's open. Do you have a UFO experience?
Yeah, I've had two over the years, but again, it is what it is. You learn by watching and experiencing. What are you going to do? One time I was sitting on a mountain in the middle of nowhere, north-south-west highway, 4 or 5 hour horseback ride in, nobody for 7 miles. Sunny bluebird day, and here's this brown, pewter colored, I don't think it was chrome, it was more of a gray metallic pewter color thing on an angle like that. And I don't know what it is, so I can't accurately gauge how far it was from us. But I can tell you this much, it was a round disc ball thing just sitting right there. And we're looking at it, my friend's a first responder, and as well, part-time hunting guy, we're looking at it, it's like, wow. I'm like, yeah, wow. Yes, it's a UFO. We're like, yeah, yes it is. What are we gonna do now? Not much you can do about it. Go home and tell the newspaper? What's that gonna do? All right, I guess we saw a UFO. So we kept glassing for moose, glassing for sheep. Still there. When we don't sat, coming up in, and then probably a couple hours later, it's gone. It's gone. So there's one. Then I had a paper in the 70s, grade 7. I remember it was wintertime riding down the street, and I just glanced up, and there's a light going. When you see a satellite going by, apparently it's a satellite. You see a satellite going by, it's about that same speed, another satellite, but it looked really way bigger. And I'm riding line on that side, riding on that side. And all of a sudden it stopped dead, split into 2, and shot up. I'm like, I just saw a UFO. Cool. What do you do?
Well, and the reason I think the UFO topic is important to our discussion today is that a lot of people in that genre of UFOs have faced the same ridicule that the Bigfoot's.
That's the exact same thing, yeah.
And like you in the wilderness, when you take these hunters out and you broach the Bigfoot topic with some of these celebrities and big names in business, have any of them really pushed back on you and said, hey, I don't talk about it?
No, it's funny. It's to the point you describe their demeanor, their stance, and they are so out of their element. They're in my home, and it's up to me to keep them alive. And after about the first 7.5 hours, they figure it out real quick. But I better not piss this guy off, right? So when you're in that element, most people who don't want to talk about this subject, you're going to talk about it, they're typically as well very insecure. Very insecure people don't want to piss anybody off, and they don't want to push any buttons, they don't want to say the wrong thing. So I never really had too much opposition in my hunting camp where we're speaking to these people and they're guests. They don't really, some of them, man, no way, they're right into it. And others, wow, man, that's crazy. They don't encourage the topic to keep ripping.
So, and many of these times, you were a guy working for an outfitter, right? Did the outfitter ever come to you and say, hey, Steve, let's tone it down, let's not talk about this?
No, never.
That's refreshing to me.
Well, you gotta get the confidence too, right? Like, I've never let anybody push me around, and I've never treated any bad. I've never treated anybody with
You
disrespect.
treated me kind of bad last night.
Yeah, it's coming. Come on, you earned it all day. But anyway, you know what I mean? You can't, let's tell everybody, don't be scared. Hold your head high, man. Don't be scared. What are you gonna do, kill you? I mean, that's another thing too. Once you've gone after a wounded grizzly bear, you can probably rip your head off in one bite. Humans become very, very nothing real fast. You know what I mean? Next time you're scared of it, don't be scared of people, you guys. Don't be scared. Don't give them that power. You know what I mean? It's like, there was an outfit I worked for where you think about trying to tell me what to do or how to speak. That were already clear way over the years, but I deliver. I have repeat hunters. I went 100% 20 years. I deliver, so I have that respect, and I don't disrespect anybody. I don't push my beliefs on anybody. I mean, you better believe me, or else. You bring it up. Hey, believe Bigfoot? Oh, I don't know. Or else somebody would nope. Okay, cool.
So one of the things that you told me over the weeks that we've communicated, that there are Bigfoot, quote unquote, researchers who really want to be your friend. And they're from the other side of the fence.
Which flavor of research were you talking about?
I don't want to name names, I don't want to name
What do you mean
organizations.
you don't want to be my friend?
Oh, come, talk to me, communicate. I don't know what they want to do, but they want to be your friend.
Well, some do right now. There's a handful that want to kill me for sure. They want me to shut up. But here's a creepy thing.
They gotta move away.
I'll keep coming. I'll go away. Anyway, okay, I'm not going to mention names because that's what I think a lot of them are. They're just aching for me to say a word for them or promote them. I'm like, I'm not that stupid. I'm going to say, well, I'm not going to encourage you. I'm going to kick you aside and point out exactly what you're doing to everybody. You're keeping this topic right here. You're keeping it going in circles, and you're attacking and discrediting and taking part in annihilating innocent people's careers. I got zero respect for those handful of individuals. And as an example, this one guy, as soon as I came out, and take note, I've never told anybody to make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I've never said that once. Well, you want to listen to me talk? You want to listen to me talk? The door's wide open. Maybe treat it with respect. But the moment you don't, you're going to get it probably pretty good. You're going to get the punt after we make a fool out of you for a little bit first. But this guy gets a hold of me right away, emails me. Hey, I got this thing going on, we're doing this, we're doing that, we'd really love for you to join us. I'll read the email, I'm like, it's like seeing a deer in the headlights. Yeah, I'm good, see you later. Didn't even reply. 3 days later, he emails me again. Hey, did you get that email, watch your video, you really like your attitude, really love the way you shredded that Todd Stanton guy too. He starts ripping into another guy who's up there, and an email to me, I still got him. But there you go, and I was like, oh, here we go again. Get the email in a sec. And then he had a woman try to contact him through the messenger thing on Facebook, saying the exact same, hey, so-and-so's really trying to get hold of you. I'm like, I never replied once. Never said this person's name once, still haven't. It took just over 1 week, and all of a sudden he just went to trying to tear my character down and annihilate me on social media on the internet. He started taking my videos and making videos about me and posting them on his social media page, and he would do it like 4 or 5 times, and I'm just watching this. And people go, Steve, you see what this guy's doing? I'm like, who cares? Kick him to the side. Who cares? You know, but then as far as I'm concerned, somebody's willing to do this sort of things, they have a very weak mind. And it's easy to see. So when sometimes I wake up in the morning, I'll see one of these nasty comments online, and I'll just catch it, flips on your phone. I'll be in the right mood at the right time, and I'll see it, and I'll just kind of stick it to them. Because it's easy. Make me giggle, and then I'll go off and jump in the mountains and carry on. But I finally kind of let him have it, because he made a comment on my page finally, so it's easy. Somebody real nasty comes onto my page and is real rude. I just pin it. I pin the comment, throw a little shot at him, and all you guys go tearing him to frickin' shreds. Which you should, because it makes an example for all those bullies out there. It's like, I'm not doing that. No, you're not. Because all the good people are here.
So, I'm trailing Steven's subscribers, but and that hurts. But one of the things that people come to me with, they go, "Hey, we know you're friends with Steve. Is Steve ever going to come out and say who these guys are? Is he going to name names or no?"
Of the bullies?
Yeah.
I kind of have a couple of them, only because I know exactly what they did to Dr. Melvin. And how can I describe this?
Oh, hold on. Say to the world what they did to her.
They annihilated her career. They shredded her. You can see it. She's getting strangers who have never met this woman ever. Don't even know the story, don't know the details, are echoing disparaging comments about her character, like a parrot. I'm like, really? You're that stupid? You ever met her? Well, no, but she's just this crazy lady. You met her? What are you doing? What are you doing? You don't do that to somebody. She's probably got more brains than your entire family lineage put together. Kidding me? You know what I mean? Yeah, you're not allowed to do that anymore. As far as you're not allowed to do that anymore to anybody. And it just takes everybody to go and say that and do that. Would you oppose anything? Stops now. And I'm coming for you, like that one complete dirtbag TV show moron. I try to, you gotta understand, folks, I grew up commercial fishing, I grew up on horses and run around some rough characters. I don't have the prettiest language at times.
No, you don't.
And I'll share this, you can understand a little more of my background without getting into too many intimate details. My parents split up when I was a young boy, and unfortunately my sweetheart, her mother, ended up bringing home the devil, an alcoholic, abusive, bully, power worshipping sack or whatever, a very nasty person who caused a lot of absolutely nasty, nasty things. We'll get into it. So you understand my feelings about bullies. I finally had to learn it was there to protect me. I had to learn, and I knew I'd get bigger one day, and I would make things right. I did, but I learned from my childhood. Somebody has to fight. Somebody's got to stand up to these people, and somebody's got to fight and say, "That's it, no more." And then when I started hearing the nightmares that these people have done to good, hardworking, honest people who had ongoing occurrences on their property, had it all lined out, they go in there, charge out all these people, all these hundreds of thousands of dollars to come in there with it, crapped all over them. I shredded this guy, got a broken back and 5 children, and nothing. Come into his life, took advantage of it, disrupted it, and then left him thousands of dollars, didn't even give him a 6-pack of beer for fuel. And that's why I said straight to the camera, "You sack of crap, I'm coming for you. We're coming for you now. You're not allowed to do that anymore." So, nobody's doing it. You've been on a TV show 50,000 times, have you? There's nothing scary about you. You got $10 million, there's nothing scary about you. You're a liar, you're a dirtbag, and you have annihilated good, hard-working, honest people. Now you're going to be scared. Listen to me get going, eh? I hate bullies. Hate them.
So another question I get all the time is when Steve kind of insinuates who he's talking to online. Obviously, I'm one of those people. But who are you willing to talk about? Who are those other people that are kind of in that inner circle of yours that you talk to about Bigfoot?
The circle of trust. Well, you know what? One thing for me is, I've had some people send me pictures. I've even met them in person. Say, "Hey man, I said this, please don't share it with anybody." Okay. I won't share it. Because the second you do share it, your credibility is shot. You're a liar. So, and other people they're talking about stuff, they don't want me to share their name. Okay, I won't share it. So, You know, there's a few people up there that want to show their name. Yeah, I want to show their name. And they're talking to me nonstop and sharing things with me that make me feel, oh, she's kidding me. Okay, well, maybe one day you'll let me come out with this. Yeah, one day, okay, whatever. You know, like, what are you going to do? You're going to pull one of those arm moves and pull the guy to do anything, you know, we don't do anything, and then have to say, turn around and stick it to you? No, I don't do that, so.
So one of the things I've learned in the last 3 years since I did the 2 movies is really any 12-year-old with an advanced education with film, and I could probably teach them in 3 months, can make anything look on video realistic so that a top pro would have a difficult time distinguishing what's true and what's not. Personally, I've said in a lot of conferences that I almost put 0 credibility in anything that's on film, because I know that it can be manipulated so much. What are your feelings about that?
Well, look what happened a few videos ago. Somebody was bugging me about some of these photographs I've received. There's that one woman with a trail camera. She's got a pile of stuff going on her property, and she's got videos and pictures. She's sent me a bunch of other items. She's got others she's reluctant to share. She's reluctant to share that one goopy picture, whatever that thing was, which I don't even run around my yard. And where's they going?
By the way, that was a Colorado location. Did you know that?
Everything's in Colorado. I want you moving.
Out of there.
But yeah, so and everybody online, when are you going to show pictures? I've had other pictures sent to me, and nobody wants to give me the permission to share them yet. Okay, I got an old guy in British Columbia who has 2 of these things on a trail camera. One's facing the camera, one's got his back to it. Probably one of the best photographs ever. And he's the poor old schoolboy's attitude. Well, you know, we've got to be careful of these things. Why is it going to blow up? Give it to me. Let me share it. Well, you know, we got to be careful of these things. Oh God! And he won't share it. You know, he won't share it. And then those sort of shows photographs. I've never Googled Sasquatch pictures or photos of my life. I'm not obsessed about Sasquatch. I know it's like grizzly bears. I know that. I know what's going on. I don't care about this. Oh, look, I can see the sign of Sasquatch. Believe me, I don't miss nothing. I see their sign all over the place. And I just look at it like it's in. It's just there. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to freak out, take a picture, and plaster all over social media, make an international, episode about it. But getting back to the pictures I shared, I said to everybody, look, I share these pictures, mail to me. I don't really give a crap about them for a picture. It doesn't matter today. You can have one winking at the camera and burping and flicking its tongue lens. It is not going to matter, right? You can have, look at the videos. You've got one, you got this Patterson footage. Is the most insane example of the craziness going on. It's like Rogan. Rogan's being a complete moron when it comes to this topic.
Oh, Joe Rogan, he's your buddy.
Yes, we're buddy. So anyway, it's like, okay, big boy, you got a bunch of money. You laughing at everybody, calling everybody down and doing insults, so I couldn't help myself. I insulted him back. And you got some money. Put a $5 million reward, put a $10 million reward to anybody that can duplicate that being that big, that size, with that equipment. Go ahead. Big guy,
So there's a question. What if Rogan called you up? He said, Steve, I want to hire you as a hunting guide. I want to get to know you. I want to spend 3 or 4 days in the woods, and then we come back and we do my podcast. Would you do it?
If it was going to be live, I'd do it.
How can it be live?
Well, maybe we created the podcast and do it live. Sure. And if it was going to be, like I had a TV outfit in the Vancouver news crew who we've had to go toe-to-toe a few times. They don't like me anymore, and I don't like them. And they kind of put a clip of me on the news and obviously manipulate it to look like something else. So I put a big clip about them, and I put that on the YouTube channel. It's like, oh yeah, watch this. And they wanted to come and send a guy up with me. And I said, sure, you come on up. And you guys' cameras rolling, and my camera's rolling the entire time too. Every second your cameras are on, my cameras are on. You want to screw me, I'm going to screw back.
Now, you just hit on something that we are aligned 100% on. So I've been asked in the last 18 months to do like 3 different shows. There's a show on TV right now called the Alaska Triangle. I was asked to be on it. I wouldn't do it. Because I've experienced the exact same thing you're talking about. When you don't have control of the production, they can make you look like whatever they want to. And they can manipulate the clips. And that's one reason why I started making my own movies. Because what you were seeing on the screen isn't reality.
No, it's a nightmare. It's a joke.
Yeah.
That's why we got YouTube. YouTube's freaking awesome. Isn't it? It's awesome. Now all the good, honest people find each other. All right. Who needs those guys? Kick them to the side. kick them to the side.
So, another question. If there's one thing you wanted the audience here to leave with, after hearing you, what is it?
Don't be afraid of anything. And bring your community back and act like a community again. Make sure it's not okay for anybody in the community to automatically call somebody in that community a liar. Automatically. It's not okay anymore. You're not allowed to do that anymore. Period. Lay that law down and stick to it. You're not allowed to do that to good, hard, honest, working people anymore. You can't automatically call somebody a liar. I don't know who started that trend. Who started that trend anyway? Who started that? You know, when we're a community, something bad's happening outside our community, somebody comes running and tell everybody. Well, you band together and you get ready for it, and you fix it. You don't ignore them and shred them to pieces. You tear apart their character. Who started that? That's wrong. It happened a long time ago, you know, it started. It's what started, it's carrying on, but we can turn it around.
So we got a few minutes left. Any questions for Steve or I? Yeah, go ahead. Was there a scientific article written about the DNA study we did? So here's what happened. Melba had an agreement with the journal Nature. And if you go to Scott Carpenter's website, if you Google Scott Carpenter, Google DNA, he has the documents between Melba and the journal. When you sign up to do a journal article for any, they own the copyright of all the communications between them, and that's key. So now they own the copyright, you can't go public with it. Well, they lied and they manipulated so bad in Melba's view that she said, forget it, I'm coming public with everything. They didn't like the results. And so Melba was looking for a way to get it public. She found a publication in Utah that was going broke. She thought, I'll buy it, I'll just publish it there. But in reality, I encourage everybody to just read the white paper. It's on Scott's site, it's on my site, anybigfootsearch.com, Scott Carpenter, Google DNA, you can read it, it's right there. All of the communication in a ABC list of how to understand that DNA is there. Good question. Sir? Do they have a distinct odor?
I think I smelled the scent once when I was about 23 years old. I thought it was roadkill, and I figured it wasn't roadkill. It was there, and I was going to follow. But from what I understand from the multiple people I spoke to, sometimes they do have that strong, disgusting odor, and sometimes they don't. So it's almost like it's possibly intentional. I think it's intentional. That powerful odor that comes with it.
Somebody else? Yes, ma'am.
In your Google project book, all the people that you interviewed never said anything. In a lot of these other shows, people claim that when they're around Bigfoot, they have headaches or they get dizzy and nauseous and things like that. But it didn't seem like any of the people you interviewed had any of those feelings or anything like that. What's your opinion?
So in the Hoopa project book, the lady said there was never a mention of people having headaches and things that are commonly associated with Bigfoot sightings. I can guarantee with 1,000% fact it does happen. And it was in that, honestly, I believe that Native Americans and First Nations have some association and relationship with Bigfoot or Sasquatch that common people that live in cities don't. And that's, I think, one of the reasons that Bigfoot migrate towards those reservations. They feel safe, they know they won't be harassed, that they're respected. So maybe that's why they haven't had that sort of encumberment to their life. Good question. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Steve, I was wondering, next year I'm looking at a new area to hunt for black-tailed deer. You think I'm better off looking for some of the old drainages that come down, follow up and look for the old growth timber up in the high country? Is that where those big mature bucks tend to live, where they forage on some of that old growth timber?
Question about black-tailed deer and what part of the mountain should you hunt?
Well, to answer that question, with black-tailed deer, there are monster bucks in the alpine, and at the exact same time those monsters are up there, there's monsters on the edge of the ocean. So there's no give or take. The elevation has zero to do with the monster black-tailed buck, period. Big mature timber is where I choose to hunt, and there is typically, timber feeds everything. Where there's big timber, you get big bucks. And but the key is to get up there, hike around, find those antlers, find that genetic pocket, which you'll never be able to erase. Once you find a monster there, even if it gets harvested, there's always going to be a monster there. You know, how many guys, oh, the big one already got shot, the place is screwed. I go like this, oh, I got a new spot. There you go. And you just stick to it, you learn a spot until you find that monster buck, and then you learn everything about him. So it has nothing to do with elevation.
Yes, sir. Glasses.
Hi, I was wondering what your thoughts were with the Casey Lynn Hathaway case. It happened about last year in North Carolina. And also, I was doing some research in the area. The Cherokee lived in that area. They've had reservations before. And they've had stories about people called the Nunanahea, I think. I don't know if that's the right pronunciation for it. But it said, like, people who can live anywhere, the immortals, people that live in the woods, further looking.
Casey Lynn Hathaway, North Carolina. What do I think about the case? Is that the incident where they stated that they were with some type of animal or something, a black bear?
I think they said it was hang on here, best friend, the bear.
Yeah, that's right. They came back and they were interviewed, the parents, and they said, yeah, bear took care of them, and they were considered my best friend. It's an interesting case. And it was shut down by the media right away.
Yeah.
And the parents, I gotta say, if I was the parent of that kid, I would have let other people talk to him as well. And so until that child gets older and can make decisions on their own, we probably won't get a clear understanding of what really happened. Now, in books I've written, this isn't unique. I mean, I've written stories from the 1800s and since about children that state, you know, a wolf took care of me and took me to a wolf's den. And then I know a searcher that found a kid in a wolf's den. You didn't read that book, did you? But I've heard of bears doing it. Yeah, so it's not uncommon. And you wonder really what's going on, because anybody who knows bears aren't all cuddly and going to take care of a kid, in my mind.
Well, all predators are opportunists, and the majority of predators have hammered on children, for sure, especially bears.
Yeah. Yes, sir, right here with Gary.
In your book, and you talk about Bigfoot taking in that villages like Indian villages and stuff.
I didn't say that.
I read that somewhere. Oh, it was in one of the articles.
Oh, yeah.
Now, do you think that's for breeding purposes or just?
So there was an article stating that Bigfoot take women into the woods and take them away. It's a good question, and there's a lot of people who say, especially with kids that disappear that are supposedly been taken by Bigfoot, that Bigfoot is trying to protect them because obviously they're alone in the woods because nobody sees it happen. So Bigfoot's trying to protect them from whatever creature may be out there. I've heard that. About why taking a woman. In Russia, there's something called the Almasty, and there was a TV show that was done about a woman who seemed to be half Almasty and half human, and they were trying to find her skull to do DNA testing. I don't know if they ever did, but that story's kind of been around for a while. Interesting thought. I don't know. Yes, sir.
Steve, would you, if you felt threatened in a wood, would you shoot the Bigfoot? And two, what would you, if somebody did shoot a Bigfoot, what the hell would you do with the body if you wanted to prove it? That, hey, I got this on there.
So, Steve, if you were threatened by one, would you shoot it? And if you did shoot it and kill it, what would you do with it?
Well, number one, if I was threatened by anything in the woods, I'd shoot it multiple times until the threat was suppressed. And I think I have a strong feeling if one of those things wanted your ass, and you managed to kill one of them, I have a funny feeling you're not going to make it out of the truck anyway. I got a funny feeling that's probably going to be the way it's going to go. So depending on where it happened, like let's say it happened and you're like 20 yards from the pickup truck. If you could get over yourself, I'd probably whip out a video camera and videotape that thing in the bullet hole pretty darn quick and bolt for my truck and get out of there. But if it happened the typical way that I hunt, which is the middle of nowhere, and I got to hike an hour to get out, I'd be sprinting. I wouldn't think about nothing but self-preservation, and I would be running out of there.
So one of the things that Native American tribes have said to me on the west coast of the US and inland during our work is that they believe that when you see one, you're not seeing the group behind them. And because you're not seeing that, let's say you take a shot and you accidentally or purposely kill one of them, those others behind are going to come up and give aid to that one, take them out of there, and then like Steve said, well now you've attacked them. And I don't know of a Native American tribe that would do that, which is one of the reasons maybe why there's more sighting reports around there, but just a thought.
Well, I'll get to that story I shared with you earlier today. If I could show on that note, I was guiding sport fishing lodge in the middle of nowhere, West Coast Campground, Cayuga, native community there. We all had a bonfire on the beach later. But a few years before that, I heard the story of a native hunter on the island. He shot one of these things, ran out of the trail, shot right between the shoulder blades, and dumped it. And then he started feeling panicky, anxiety, like, uh-oh, I don't think I should have done that. He takes off, goes back home, and somewhere around 25, 30 miles away to a single wide trailer, that night, some things beat the living crap out of his home and crushed it like a Budweiser can. And they did that for 3 or 4 nights straight, and then he killed himself, was the story that I heard, okay? Fast forward a few years, I'm a Cayuga guiding sport fisherman, and a bunch of these guys knew who I was, and we all, from other lodges there, we all went and had a fire at the beach the night before I left. And this one native kid said, yeah, my uncle killed himself. I'm like, huh? So yeah, I was at a deer hunting past Pearl Gurney and ran in one of those things, shot and dropped it, and they went back and beat the hell out of his home. I saw it, it was crushed, and he couldn't take it anymore and killed himself. I'm like, no way, that was your uncle?
So one thing I want to say, that for absolute clarity here, when this video comes out, that I have never stated in any book what I think is taking the people, ever. Because I have never met anybody who's read all of my books who stated they know. There's a lot of people out there on Reddit and different forums that have stated, oh, Paulides said this or Paulides said that. I've never said it. So don't believe it. And one of the things that Steve and I have talked about a lot is that there's so many factors, if you look at it from a fact-based only release, that if you stay with the facts, it doesn't point to any one thing. There's multiple things going on here that are highly unusual. Now, the people that believe it's Bigfoot, I'm going to guess if I delved into your past, you studied and you understand Bigfoot pretty good. And the people that think it's UFOs and aliens, I'll bet you those people, they understand too. Aliens, UFOs really well. I like to think that I'm an inch thick and about a mile wide. I'm not really an expert on anything, but I know a little bit about a lot. And I'm a MUFON investigator, and I've done a lot of work and research on Bigfoot, and I know the outdoors pretty well. But the thing is that I know enough not to make a wild-ass claim that I can't support. Because you know why? The trolls out there will attack me, and they are the ones that are saying, Dave, tell us what you really think. You know what's going on. Well, if I know what's going on, the people that read the books know what's going on. You don't hear them saying anything. Next question. Yes, sir, one more.